All right. Shalom, family. Glad you're here. And ooh, it's very humid where I am. I mean, it's like that heavy air. That's what we got today, unfortunately. But I hope everybody is doing well. And we're going to get into the testament of Issachar and Benjamin today. So I hope you're all ready. It's good to see everybody. I can't even remember what channel I was on. I was on one channel just to listen in, and this person said, "Man, I'm sick of you Hebrew Israelites." I said, "Well, send them over here. I never get sick of my people. Not unless you're one of them self-righteous ones. Then, other than that, I would never have a problem with you." All right, y'all, let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, give me a 1 if you can see the screen, and then we can go ahead and get started. All right. I know there's always these little delays. All right, just give me a 1 if you can see the screen. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
The testaments of the 12 patriarchs, the sons of Jacob, the patriarch. Testament of Issachar, the 5th son of Jacob and Leah. Chapter 1. A copy of the words of Issachar. He called his sons to him and said, "Listen, children, to Issachar your father. Give ear to the words of one who is beloved of the Most High. I was the 5th son to be born to Jacob as a payment for mandrakes. For when Reuben, my brother, brought in mandrakes from the field, Rachel met him on the way and took them. Reuben wept, and at the sound of his voice his mother Leah came out. These were fragrant fruit produced in the land of Haran, in the high country below a waterfall. Rachel said, I will not give you these, because they shall be mine in place of children. There were 2 of these fruits. Leah said, Is it not enough that you took the husband of my virginity? Must you take these as well? And Rachel said, In exchange for your son's mandrakes, let Jacob be yours tonight. Leah replied to her, Do not boast and do not hold to high opinion of yourself, for Jacob is mine, and I am the wife of his youth. Rachel said, What do you mean? I was prepared for marriage to him first, and for my sake he served our father 14 years. What can I do with you? Treachery and human trickery are increasing, and treachery is spreading over the earth. If that were not so, you would not see Jacob's face. You are not his wife, but by craftiness you were taken to him in my place. My father deceived me and replaced me that night, not allowing Jacob to see me. Because if I had been there, this would not have happened. Then Rachel said, In exchange for the mandrakes, I will hire out a woman to Jacob for one night. And Jacob had intercourse with Leah. She conceived and bore me. And on account of the hire, I was called Issachar. Chapter 2. Then an angel of the Most High appeared to Jacob and said, Rachel shall bear 2 children, because she despised intercourse with her husband, choosing rather continence. If Leah, my mother, had not given up the 2 fruits in exchange for sexual intercourse, she would have borne 8 sons. But accordingly she bare 6, and Rachel bore 2, because through the use of mandrakes the Most High had regard for her. For he perceived that she wanted to lie with Jacob for the sake of children, and not merely for sexual gratification. In addition, she gave up Jacob on the following day so that she might obtain the other mandrake. Thus it was through the mandrakes that the Most High listened to Rachel. Even though she longed for them passionately, She did not eat them, but presented them in the house of the Most High, offering them up to the priest of the Most High who was there at that time. Chapter 3. Accordingly, when I grew up, my children, I lived my life in rectitude of heart. I became a farmer for the benefit of my father and my brothers, and I brought the produce from the fields at their appropriate times. And my father blessed me, since he saw that I was living in integrity. I was no meddler in my dealings, nor was I evil or slanderous to my neighbor. I spoke against no one, nor did I disparage the life of any human. I lived my life with singleness of vision. Accordingly, when I was 35, I took myself a wife, because hard work consumed my energy, and pleasure with a woman never came to my mind. Rather, sleep overtook me because of my labor. And my father was continually rejoicing in my integrity. Whatever it was that I labored over at every harvest, and whenever there was a firstborn, I first made an offering to the Most High through the priest, then for my father, and then for myself. And the Most High doubled the good things in my hands. Jacob knew that the Most High collaborated with my integrity. In the integrity of my heart, I supplied everything from the good things of the earth to all the poor and the oppressed. Chapter 4. Now listen to me, children, and live in integrity of heart, for in it I have observed everything that is well pleasing to the Most High. The genuine man does not desire gold. He does not defraud his neighbor. He does not long for fancy foods, nor does he want fine clothes. He does not make plans to live a long life, but awaits only the will of the Most High. And the spirits of error have no power over him, since he does not include feminine beauty in the scope of his vision, lest by allowing distraction he might corrupt his mind. Envy will not penetrate his thinking, no malice dissipates his soul, no avarice intrudes upon his integrity, for he lives by the integrity of his soul, and perceives all things by the rectitude of his heart, making no place for an outlook made evil by this world's error, in order that he might envision no turning aside from any of the Most High's commands. Chapter 5. Keep the law of the Most High, my children, achieve integrity, live without malice, not tinkering with the Most High's commands or your neighbor's affairs. Love the Most High and your neighbor. Be compassionate toward poverty and sickness. Bend your back in farming. Perform the tasks of the soil in every kind of agriculture, offering gifts gratefully to the Most High. Thus the Most High will bless you with the first fruits, as he has blessed all the saints from Abel until the present. For to you is given no other portion than the fertility of the earth, from which comes produce through toil. Our father Jacob blessed me by the blessing of the earth and of the first fruits. And Levi and Judah were glorified by the Most High among the sons of Jacob. The Most High made choice among them. To one he gave the priesthood, and to the other the kingship. Subject yourselves to them and live in integrity as did your father, because to Gad has been assigned the route of the attackers who are coming against Israel. Chapter 6. Understand, my children, that in the last times your sons will abandon sincerity and align themselves with insatiable desire. Forsaking guilelessness, they will ally themselves with villainy. Abandoning the commands of the Most High, they ally themselves with Beliar. Giving up agriculture, they pursue their own evil schemes. They will be scattered among the nations and enslaved by their enemies. Tell these things to your children, therefore, so that even though they might sin, they may speedily return to the Most High, because he is merciful. He will set them free and take them back to their land. Chapter 7. I am 122 years old, and I am not aware of having committed a sin unto death. I have not had intercourse with any woman other than my wife, nor was I promiscuous by lustful look. I did not drink wine to the point of losing self-control. I was not passionately eager for any desirable possession of my neighbor. There was no deceit in my heart, no lie passed through my lips. I joined in lamentation with every oppressed human being and shared my bread with the poor. I did not eat alone. I did not transgress boundaries. I acted in piety and truth all my days. The Most High I loved with all my strength. Likewise, I loved every human being as I love my children. You do these as well, my children, and every spirit of Beliar will flee from you, and no act of human evil will have power over you. Every wild creature you shall subdue, so long as you have the Most High of heaven with you, and walk with all mankind in sincerity of heart. And he instructed them that they should take him up to Hebron and bury him there in the cave with his fathers. And he stretched his legs and died at a good old age. The fifth son, with all his members sound and still strong, he slept the eternal sleep.
Okay. Yeah, Issachar is not really that
Testaments
long.
of the 12 patriarchs.
All right.
The son.
All right. So we need to do Benjamin. All right.
Testaments of the 12 patriarchs, the sons of Jacob the patriarch. Testament of Benjamin, the 12th son of Jacob and Rachel. Chapter 1. A copy of the words of Benjamin, which he testified to his sons, having lived 125 years. He kissed them and said, just as Isaac was born to Abraham in his old age, so I was born to Jacob. Since Rachel, my mother, died as she was bearing me, I had no milk from her, but was nursed instead by Bilhah, her maidservant. For after Rachel bore Joseph, she was sterile for 12 years. She prayed to the Most High with fasting, and conceived and gave birth to me. My father loved Rachel exceedingly and prayed that he might see 2 sons born from her. For this reason I was called Benjamin, that is, son of days. Chapter 2. When I came to Joseph in Egypt and my brother recognized me, he said, what did they say to my father when they sold me? And I replied to him, they spattered your shirt with blood and sent it to him and said, do you know if this shirt belongs to your son? And Joseph said to me, yes, brother. When they stripped off my shirt and gave me to the Ishmaelites, they gave me a loincloth, beat me, and told me to run. One of them who had whipped me was met by a lion and it ate him. So his partners were terrified and kept me under a looser rein. Chapter 3. Now, my children, love the Most High, power of heaven and earth. Keep his commandments. Pattern your life after the good and pious man Joseph. Let your thoughts incline to the good, as you know to be so with me, because he who has the right set of mind sees everything rightly. Fear the Most High and love your neighbor. Even if the spirits of Beliar seek to derange you with all sorts of wicked oppression, they will not dominate you any more than they dominated Joseph, my brother. How many men wanted to destroy him, and the Most High looked out for him. For the person who fears the Most High and loves his neighbor cannot be plagued by the spirit of Beliar, since he is sheltered by the fear of the Most High. Neither man's schemes, not those of animals, can prevail over him, for he is aided in living by this, by the love which he has toward his neighbor. Joseph also urged our father to pray for his brothers, that the Most High would not hold them accountable for their sin which they so wickedly committed against him. And Jacob cried out, O noble child, you have crushed the inner feelings of Jacob your father. He embraced him and kept kissing him for 2 hours, saying, this is the last verse of chapter 3. There are 2 translations giving of Jacob's saying. The first translation says, through you will be fulfilled the heavenly prophecy concerning the Lamb of the Most High, the Savior of the world. because the unspotted one will be betrayed by lawless men, and the sinless one will die for impious men by the blood of the covenant for the salvation of the Gentiles and of Israel and the destruction of Beliar and his servants. The second translation says, "In you will be fulfilled the heavenly prophecy, which says that the spotless one will be defiled by lawless men, and the sinless one will die for the sake of impious men." Chapter 4. See then, my children, what is the goal of the good man. Be imitators of him in his goodness because of his compassion, in order that you may wear crowns of glory. For a good man does not have a blind eye, but he is merciful to all, even though they may be sinners. And even if persons plot against him for evil ends, by doing good this man conquers evil, being watched over by the Most High. He loves those who wrong him as he loves his own life. If anyone glorifies himself, he holds no envy. If anyone becomes rich, he is not jealous. If anyone is brave, he praises him. He loves the moderate person. He shows mercy to the impoverished. To the ill, he shows compassion. He fears the Most High. He loves the person who has the gift of a good spirit as he loves his own life. Chapter 5. If your mind is set toward good, even evil men will be at peace with you. The dissolute will respect you and will turn back to the good. The greedy will not only abstain from their passion, but will give to the oppressed the things which they covetously hold. If you continue to do good, even the unclean spirits will flee from you, and wild animals will fear you. For where someone has within himself respect for good works, and has light in the understanding, darkness will slink away from that person. For if anyone wantonly attacks a pious man, he repents, since the pious man shows mercy to the one who abused him, and maintains silence. And if anyone betrays a righteous man, the righteous man prays. Even though for a brief time he may be humbled, later he will appear far more illustrious, as happened with Joseph, my brother. Chapter 6. The deliberations of the good man are not in the control of the deceitful spirit, Beliar, for the angel of peace guides his life. For he does not look with passionate longing at corruptible things, nor does he accumulate wealth out of love for pleasure. He does not find delight in pleasure, nor does he grieve his neighbor, nor does he stuff himself with delicacies, nor is he led astray by visual excitement. The Most High is his lot. The good set of mind does not receive glory or dishonor from men, nor does it know deceit, or lying, or conflict, or abuse. For the Most High dwells in him, illumines his life, and he rejoices in everything at every appropriate time. The good set of mind does not talk from both sides of its mouth, praises and curses, abuse and honor, calm and strife, hypocrisy and truth, poverty and wealth, but it has one disposition, uncontaminated and pure toward all men. There is no duplicity in its perception or its hearing. Whatever it does or speaks or perceives, it knows that the Most High is watching over its life, for he cleanses his mind in order that he will not be suspected of wrongdoing, either by men or by the Most High. The works of Beliar are twofold and have in them no integrity. Chapter 7. So I tell you, my children, flee from the evil of Beliar, because he offers a sword to those who obey him. And the sword is the mother of the seven evils. It receives them through Beliar. The first is moral corruption, the second is destruction, the third is oppression, the fourth is captivity, the fifth is want, the sixth is turmoil, the seventh is desolation. It is for this reason that Cain was handed over by the Most High for 7 punishments. For in every 100th year the Most High brought upon him one plague. When he was 200 years old, suffering began, and in his 900th year he was deprived of life, for he was condemned on account of Abel his brother, as a result of all his evil deeds. But Lamech was condemned by 70 times 7. Until eternity, those who are like Cain in their moral corruption and hatred of brother shall be punished with a similar judgment. Chapter 8. But you, my children, run from evil, corruption, and hatred of brothers. Cling to goodness and love. For the person with a mind that is pure with love does not look on a woman for the purpose of having sexual relations. He has no pollution in his heart, because upon him is resting the Spirit of the Most High. For just as the sun is unpolluted, though it touches dung and slime, but dries up both and drives off the bad odor, so also the pure mind, though involved with the corruptions of earth, edifies instead and is not itself corrupted. Chapter 9. From the words of Enoch the righteous, I tell you that you will be sexually promiscuous like the promiscuity of the Sodomites and will perish, with few exceptions. You shall resume your actions with loose women, and the kingdom of the Most High will not be among you, for he will take it away forthwith. But in your allotted place will be the temple of the Most High, and the latter temple will exceed the former in glory. The 12 tribes shall be gathered there, and all the nations, until such time as the Most High shall send forth his salvation through the ministration of the unique prophet. He shall enter the first temple, and there he will be abused and will be raised up on wood. And the temple curtain shall be torn, and the Spirit of the Most High will move on to all the nations as a fire is poured out. And he shall ascend from Hades and shall pass on from earth to heaven. I understand how humble he will be on the earth and how splendid in heaven. Chapter 10. When Joseph was in Egypt, I earnestly desired to see his appearance and the form of his face. And through my father Jacob's prayers I saw him, while I was awake during the day, just as he was, his whole appearance. After he had spoken these things to them, he said, You know then, my children, that I am dying. Do the truth, each of you to his neighbor. Keep the law of the Most High and his commandments. For I leave you these things instead of an inheritance. Give them then to your children for an eternal possession. This is what Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob did. They gave us all these things as an inheritance, saying, Keep the Most High's commandments until the Most High reveals his salvation to all the nations. And then you will see Enoch and Seth and Abraham and Isaac and Jacob being raised up at the right hand in great joy. Then shall we also be raised, each of us over our tribe, and we shall prostrate ourselves before the heavenly King. Then all shall be changed, some destined for glory, others for dishonor. For the Most High first judges Israel for the wrong she has committed, and then he shall do the same for all the nations. Then he shall judge Israel by the chosen Gentiles, as he tested Esau by the Midianites who loved their brothers. You, therefore, my children, may your lot come to be with those who fear the Most High. Therefore, my children, if you live in holiness, in accord with the Most High's commands, you shall again dwell with me in hope. All Israel will be gathered to the Most High. Chapter 11. And I shall no longer be called a rapacious wolf on account of your rapine, but the Most High's worker, providing food for those who do good works. And in latter times there shall rise up the beloved of the Most High, from the lineage of Judah and Levi, one who does his good pleasure by his mouth, enlightening all the nations with new knowledge. The light of knowledge will mount up in Israel for her salvation, seizing them like a wolf coming upon them, and gathering the Gentiles until the consummation of the ages. He shall be in the congregations of the Gentiles and among the rulers, like a musical air in the mouths of all. He shall be written of in sacred books, both his work and his word, and he shall be the Most High's chosen one forever. He shall range widely among them, like my father Jacob, saying, he shall fill up what was lacking of your tribe. Chapter 12. And when he had finished his statements, he said, I command you, my children, carry my bones up out of Egypt. Bury me in Hebron near my fathers. Benjamin died last of all in his 125th year at a ripe old age, and they placed him in a coffin. And in the 91st year after the departure of the sons of Israel for Egypt, they and their brothers took up the bones of their fathers secretly, because of the war with Canaan, and buried them in Hebron by the feet of their fathers. Then they returned from the land of Canaan and resided in Egypt until the day of the departure from Egypt.
All right. Wow, those are really good testaments, man. I mean, even Issachar had some prophecy in his. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. This one was not going to be a long one at all. You know, short but very fulfilling. That's the way I see it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to try to do current events probably tomorrow. I just have to get that all set up. So hopefully I will see all of you there. We're definitely going to be covering some pretty good topics. Some you might not have heard at all, but definitely good topics. So may the Most High keep you safe with his hedge of protection around you. I pray that he fulfill all of your needs as the Gentile world is being judged. Please make us the head and make them the tail. And I will see you all next week. Hopefully tomorrow during current event. Shalom, family.